Well, hello. Welcome to Adorned by Jennifer, our Tuesday tips. And this is a fun week for us. I am located in the Chicagoland area. And not only did we wake up today to a lot of smoke from all the fire stuff going on, and it looked very strange and smelled even a little weird this morning, but we also have a really exciting thing happening in our community. So I know that not everybody that is watching is local, but if you happen to be local, the church that we go to, it's Bethel Church, is having Vacation Bible School, and it's very exciting, full of high energy, lots of fun for the kids. And I highly encourage you to bring your neighbor, bring your friend, bring your kids, bring your grandkids. There's still 2 days left, and we currently have over 1,000 kids at the 3 different campuses that we have at this current time. So it's been super fun. It takes a village. We have over 250 volunteers helping, and it's so fun to see so many people doing this totally because they just love the Lord and they love kids and they want them to hear about the Lord. So anyway, I'm representing because I haven't had a chance to change yet. It's been a full day, but I wanted to come to you and share a Tuesday tips. It's going to be a fast one today because it's been a crazy week. But I want to share a couple of little things about tips and tricks for having a green thumb. Now, I personally do not have a green thumb. It seems like everything I have that's a living, except for my children and my husband, turns out dying inside of my house, especially if it's plant related. Hopefully it's only plant related. But I wanted to share with you, as you can see, I have an orchid here today. And this was a gift from a dear friend. And I'm going to show you the type of orchid it is because my understanding is this is an easier orchid to keep living. Orchids have a reputation of being a little persnickety and sometimes a little delicate. And I've heard that you can water them with ice cubes and some different things, which I've tried in the past, but I was never successful. This is the type, I had to write it out because I don't think I could pronounce it. Here's the name, and I am sorry if it's backwards in your camera. Maybe if you're dyslexic like me, you can read it. But I would call it a Phalaenopsis, maybe a Phalaenopsis orchid. So that is the type of orchid that I have. And it was a gift. I got it several months ago, and I'm going to show you how I watered it. Now, I am not claiming to be extraordinarily brilliant in all of this, and this has worked for me. It may or may not work for you, but Tuesday Tips is kind of that's the definition is I'm just sharing things that I've learned that work for me, whether they're right or wrong. I love learning best practices from other people. So if you have some great ideas or suggestions or feedback, I'd love to hear it. Post it in the comments because maybe we could all learn from you. But today I'm going to share with you the idea of keeping an orchid in the house. I do think that orchids look elegant in interior decor, and literally just the orchid itself, you don't have to do a whole lot more, makes it look beautiful and kind of a refined, interesting thing. And I do think that having living plants is preferred over non-living plants because it's nice to have fresh life in your house. But again, because I have a little bit more of a brown thumb, I prefer to have things that are easy to maintain or faux because I always get sad when I kill things, particularly, hopefully, only plants. But anyway, one thing, and I put it in the title, is do you have a green thumb or a brown thumb? So mark in the comments, are you a green thumb person or a brown thumb person? Because I always find it interesting. Some people are just naturally gifted. My mom is an amazing green thumb person. I apparently did not inherit that from her, or maybe I just haven't gotten old enough to wink, wink, that I'm not old enough to have a good green thumb yet, and I'm still learning. But again, today is for both green and brown thumb people because, first of all, I wanted to share how I water my orchid. But before I do that, I want to show a little something kind of hilarious. I'm hoping you're not on to me right now and noticing my hilarity, but this is the orchid that my friend gave me. It's in a pot. I just put it in a little pot. This is actually from IKEA. I can post a link to that as well, but and then I put a plate underneath. I'm crazy about blue and white. You can thrift this kind of thing, but blue and white, this is Spode, but blue and white, anything is like totally my love language. I love it. Pots, urns, vases, anything. I love that. So I put mine under my plant for any extra drippage. Now this plant is not going to have drippage, and I'll show you why. Because you actually pull it out and it has a liner. So I highly recommend that for indoor plants because then you can move them to the sink, you can water them, and then you can put them back once they've kind of drip dried, and then you don't have standing water and kill your plant from having standing water, which I wouldn't know about that except for the fact that I've done that before. So I've learned. The other thing that's nice is you can remove it very easily, and you just stick it in your sink. And then I use the dish drainer, the little metal thing that I leave in my sink, and I leave my my pot there so any overflow can just drip out, and I leave it there for like an hour, let it dry out, and then I just pitch it back in my pot. Now, I'm going to show you how I water this, but I'm going to show you my hilarious secret, or at least I think it's hilarious, because this is actually what my plant really looks like. This is my little orchid. This is my brown thumb. I kept him alive for about, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 months, and it bloomed beautifully with these beautiful purple flowers. But when they all started dying, it didn't look so pretty. And so my secret for brown thumb people is that I went to the thrift store and I bought a thrifted orchid. This, my friends, is the secret to my success. This is a fake orchid that I literally just stick next to my pot. It's not even in the dirt, and it looks beautiful. Now, here's my other thing. It looked awful at the thrift store. I was really actually having a hard time paying the 99 cents or whatever it was that I got it for because it had dust all over it. It was nasty, which is part of the reason why fake plants in the house have a reputation of not being attractive, because dust collecting. And I've shown you my secret air can tip, and I didn't pull my air can out, but I will link an air can also. All these links, by the way, are on adornbyjennifer.com. It's my new website, and all the links will always be there because sometimes Instagram doesn't let me post the links very easily. Facebook does, but then sometimes they get buried in my feed. So anytime you want a link, you can go to adornbyjennifer.com, and I have my blog post. You can click on the blog post, you can watch the whole video, and then underneath I have the links. So I'm going to try to remember what I'm saying I'm going to post links to, and I will post them ASAP. But back to my faux fake urn. Look at this. This is just wire, and it was hot glued. So it was hot glued, ironically, in the most darling blue and white little pot. And I actually wasn't going to use the orchid because it looked so terrible that I cut the floral foam that was glued into this darling blue and white pot. And I extracted this little guy, and I was like, you know, I wonder what will happen if I run him under the sink water and just wipe off all the dust. And so I thought, well, I have nothing to lose. So I did it, and I think it looks kind of nice now. It doesn't look too ratty. I mean, if you get close, you can tell it's plastic. But it sure does look nice when you just poke it in with the curvy vines in my dead looking plant. Now I say dead looking because it actually is not dead. So here's my secret for the green thumb people is that I remove my fakey and I have my what looks to be deady, but I pull him out of the little plastic, and I'm actually trying to use this as a nursery. These are still alive, they're still thriving, and I've not been successful, so I can't claim victory yet, but I keep watering him. And I think there maybe is a fertilizer. If you're good at this thing, please tell me, because I would like to do the right thing and not kill it, because I've sure been trying on this little guy. But I'm going to show you how I water it. So basically what I'm saying is I have an originally once beautiful plant that I enjoyed for a couple of months. Now it's expired in its blooms for the current state, but I'm continuing to water it so that it can continue to go through its life cycle, and then hopefully it will bloom again someday. But in the meantime, I don't want this ugly thing sitting around, so I throw my fake orchid in there in the meantime until it starts blooming, and then I'll remove that and I'll probably wash it again because it will probably be dusty by then. But this is how I water it. I literally, this is probably not the right way, but this is what I've done, is put it under the sink. I don't know if you can see it. It's maybe a little low. And I just let the water run on it. Now this was recommended by my dear friend who gave me the plant. She showed me what she does. And again, I'm talking about the Phalaenopsis type of orchid. But you can hear the water's just running. I have it on the gentle sprayer, not the like gushing faucet, but the gentle sprayer if you have that option. and I just let it run through it. It seems like it may be a little much, but I run it on the roots. Orchid roots are kind of gnarly looking. So if you ever want to just have fake ones, I highly recommend adding the gnarly base to it just so it looks more authentic. And then you can add some moss over the bottom, but I'll show you about that in just a hot second. So literally, I'm just letting the roots soak up. There's a lot of excess water right now, but that's what I do. Give it a really good bath, let the dust come off the leaf bottom, and then I stick it in my sink. So here it's dripping, dripping, dripping. There's some standing water in there. You can see the root system. And I just sit it in my sink for about an hour, just like that. I let it all drip out, do its thing. And then I personally have the pot it came in, but I don't think that's so cute. So I put it in this pot just for grins and giggles. So these actually don't have holes, so you don't really need a plate underneath it to catch the water. But I personally like the aesthetic of having the layers and the different colors and the look. So that's what I personally do. So that's what I do. Let's pretend I did that for an hour and it's dripped and it's all good now. So I drop it back in my pot, and you can, if you want to be particular, you can actually stick this in the dirt, but I don't want to mess with it. So I actually just stick it next to it. If anybody gets closer, if you come over to my house, you'll see that this is not real. And voila! I have both a green and brown thumb apparently. So I'm hoping that I do have a green thumb and that this doesn't just keep being twigs sticking out of the top. And if you know a certain kind of what to do for the fertilizer, because I think there's actually an orchid fertilizer, but I'm a cheapskate and I don't want to spend money on that. So if you know of something that you can do that you don't have to spend money on, I'd love a best practice with that, and we could share it with everybody as well. So that is my best practice today of how to have beautiful interior plants that look pretty, but if you don't have a green thumb, that you can have an option as well. I also was going to show you, before my friend so generously gave this to me, and I have just delighted in it so much, I had actually just purchased fake orchids because I love the look of them so much, but I just know I can't trust myself. And so this is actually what I had, and I haven't used them because I've been enjoying the one that I have so much. But these are just fake orchids from Hobby Lobby. I will really encourage you, if you are wanting to be financially savvy, that they put their flowers on sale. In the past, it was every other week. They've been changing up their sales cycle lately, but it sure does help because the faux flowers have gone up in price since COVID, like everything else. And so it helps take the sting off of things. But I just bought a couple of stems, and they're beautiful, but I would highly recommend cutting them down so that they're not quite so tall, because an orchid like this is a little bit too tall. You can see a real one would be a little bit more in that range, but it depends on how many you want to use and the vase style. Also, if you notice on the original, they use little stakes. You can use little bamboo stakes, or you could use shish kebab skewers if you have thicker ones, something like that, or even a thick straw or a chopstick, that type of a thing. And you can use twine to put it together, but the really pretty orchids, I think, have these cute little clippy thingies that look like hair clips on miniature style. So, it depends on how detailed you want to get. But then I also recommend buying the leaves. And these leaves, it's different than just regular leaves. These are actually tropical leaves. This is from Hobby Lobby as well. And they have wire in them so you can bend them. So if you put this in your pot like this, it's not going to look so good. But if you kind of bend them open and you give them a little personality, it will look a little bit more custom. And then you've got these cute little vines, which this is very much part of. If you look at the base of the real orchid, they do have these gnarly little vines in there. So I would recommend this. Obviously, you don't want your stem to be this long. I would either cut it with some industrial heavy duty wire cutters, or you can do my trick of bending it up and just having like a coil and just having it coiled under here. So if you ever want it long again, you can just extend it again. But I also recommend using maybe some dry moss or some green moss around the bottom to just soften it. And if you want to be super fancy, some like high-end floral shops, which I met Debbie this week from Debbie's Designs in Crown Point. It was so nice to meet her. I don't know if she's watching, but it was just really delightful to visit with her. But I'm sure she has like tips and tricks that I don't even know what to do like her. But I have seen on Instagram people put little pieces of the moss on the clips, so it just kind of softens them or it hides them. So that's an option as well. I haven't actually done that yet because I've been enjoying my real guy and my fake thrifted little flower. But if you want to just go faux and you don't have one that's already starting you off, that's another option where you can stretch your budget by buying something that you can use all season around. But I do recommend using the air can to keep it clean so that you don't have a collection of dust and then it looks funny. I actually have a fake one in our bathroom, and every time that I clean the counter, I actually wipe the leaves so that it doesn't have wet buildup of dust, because then it looks really cheap and ugly. And the longer you go, the harder it is to kind of get it clean, and it looks so much more real when you clean it off. So that is my Tuesday tip for this week. I also was going to show you one of my Adorn by Jennifer products that I custom make, and I have several custom orders in the queue right now. I want you all to know that I haven't forgotten about you, and I've actually been working on all of your custom orders on so many different levels, and I'm having a blast with that. VBS has thrown me a little bit of a curveball this week, but I'm still working on it, so I haven't forgotten about you guys. And I shared with you guys earlier this week, here I'll show you, my little vases that I make out of vintage silverware, and I cut them down and make these adorable little vases that have magnets on the back that you can attach to anything. My girls picked these are on their hairy last end, but these flower weeds for me, and they love putting it in the vase. And one of the benefits of having a husband who is a pastor is that sadly, we have to do a lot of funerals, which it makes us sad, but occasionally Daddy comes home with a rose for his girls, and so we got to display it on a sweet way where we all got to enjoy it here for the week. So it was just a little sweet token that the family gave us, and we have been thinking about their family, and it's our little reminder to pray for them this week. So if you are interested, these are awesome for anyone that has littles, that if you're going on a nature walk or going on a walk in your neighborhood, our girls know not to pick the neighbor's real flowers, the pretty flowers, so that's why we get weeds a lot. But you can put leaves, you can put sticks, you can put ladybug, or you can put all kinds of things in it, and they're really fun. You can also put it if you work at an office. If you have a cubicle and you have some metal in your office, I actually was thinking about, while I was showing you, putting it in my sink, on the metal on the side of my sink, just to have a little reminder. And you can move it anywhere. I have one down in my studio next to my workbench so I can look at it, and I actually have dried baby's breath in it, and it's really cute. So anyway, that is my Tuesday tips. 2 things I want to just give you a heads up for the future is that I have a new product line coming out. I've been having so much fun. I can hardly wait to share it with you. And so stay tuned, be watching for that. And the second thing is that Amazon Prime Day is coming up. And today I'm not intentionally having anything linked. I just wanted it to be a free, carefree day of learning tips and not feeling like you always have something linked. But on Amazon Prime Day, sometimes they have really good sales. And I personally use Amazon Prime Day if things go on sale to buy for Christmas ahead of time. And I was talking with some of the ladies this morning at VBS, and I talked about when I get things for Christmas, I actually, when I wrap them, I put on the tape on the background. We can't tell my kids or my husband this, but I actually write on the back on the tape, very small, what it is, so that at Christmas I remember what I wrapped. But in July, I will go ahead and start Christmas. I'll have it wrapped. And then in December, I don't have to worry about it. So I will be doing an Amazon Prime Day special with some of the things that I've already shared with you. If anything's on sale, I'll maybe repost the links so that you can just have quick, easy access to things. But I hope that you're finding joy in them as much as I have. That's my motivation in sharing them with you, is that they're things that have brought value to me, and I just hope that it's a blessing to you. So thanks for tuning in. Please like, share. I love it when you interact, and it also helps all the algorithms. So thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, all of the things. But it really does mean a ton to me if you hit follow, or if you encourage your family and friends to hit follow as well to Adorn by Jennifer. It's the same handle on Instagram and on Facebook, Adorned by Jennifer, no spaces. It's the same handle for Etsy, Adorned by Jennifer, if you want to check out any of my Adorned stuff. These bracelets are things that I can make. I don't know if you can find them on my Etsy post, but these are super fun. These are some of my go-to fun turquoise looking. If these were real turquoise, they would be several $100s, but these are not several $100s. So they have the look. They stand up incredibly well. I've held babies today. I have been in a kitchen, and I have been in some hot weather, and they still look beautiful and they still feel great. So anywho, thanks for tuning in. Like, share, follow, and stay tuned for next week. And happy 4th of July. Bye.